Hi, everyone. This is Trish Kendall, your host for the Choose and Become interview series. I made 5 critical choices on my journey from the pit of despair to the peak of success, true success, enduring success. I picked up the phone when my sister called. I committed to a two-way agreement. I built trust in myself and inspired the trust of others. I created community and belonging. And finally, I embraced my boundless capacity to give love and to receive love. So, in this interview series, I get to spend time with people who I admire as they share their lessons and insights and experiences with us, this community, as it relates to their journey to enduring success. This is a very special interview for me because Mary Grace's mom, Jennie, which most of my community knows this, is one of my dearest, closest, best friends. Jennie and I have worked together for a very long time. We used to be like literally Mary Grace glued to the hip. You know
I
that.
know.
Oh yeah, we were
Oh,
we
I
were
know.
just attached to the hip. And so I have to tell you, when your mom and I first started working together, I think you were 13 or 14.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So let's
Quite a
just start
while.
this right away. And then I will infuse some of me and Jennie in here, I'm sure. But will you just tell the audience, my community, a little bit about you?
Yeah. Okay, so my name's Mary Grace. I'm 22 years old. I'm a recent college grad. I just got my BFA this past May in dance. I went to Western Michigan University, but I'm home now, which is great. I love being home.
Yeah.
Live with my parents. Home is Cleveland. And I'm just kind of figuring out my next steps. I teach dance in the evenings. I love teaching. I've fallen in love with it. I love being on the other side of the dance classroom, kind of instructing. I hope I'm as influential with my students as my teachers were with me. And I love being outside. I paddleboard and run, and I just started rock climbing, so that's super fun.
Right. You started rock climbing and you just completed a half marathon with your mom.
I did. I did.
I mean, come on, you're like my inspiration as I eat out 3 miles.
Yeah, super, super impressive, super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, so one of the reasons that I'm very excited and was looking so forward to finally having this time with you is that my mission. Your mom has shared my mission and you follow me and you've watched
Yeah.
and all that and I have a purpose and a mission to inspire other women
Mhm.
and specifically younger women to believe that they can create enduring success no matter their story or circumstance or experience. And there is the realization that I am now 50 and the
Yay.
the women I want to speak to, sometimes I don't even know if they can relate to me anymore. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I need and want other voices to speak to this younger generation. I
Yeah,
need
yeah, yeah.
you. I want you. I want you to
Oh,
speak to this younger
well, it's an
generation.
honor.
Hmm. Okay, let's get into so I truly believe that everybody has their own definition of success. And for me, that definition has evolved over time. Mary Grace, with where you're at in your life right now, what do you think about when I say create enduring success? Like, what does that mean to you?
Mm, I think, mm, so being successful to me is really just being satisfied and proud of where I am in my life. Um, Success doesn't mean necessarily having, material goods or, the most money ever. I always think it's I'm successful. I have a successful day when I go and do something that I'm really passionate about, whether that be teaching dance or going outside, going for a run, stuff like that. And then coming back home to people who love me and I love them. And just like surrounding myself with like a community of people that I really, really care about and care about me. So I feel like fulfilled and yeah, successful. I think that's my definition of success.
I love it. And I really like how you I appreciate how you say success in the day. Like that
Yeah.
day, right?
Yeah.
That moment.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be something big. Success can literally just be like wash your hair. Like
It's
I had a
true.
success this morning. I washed my hair.
It is so true.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And I have no doubt that you are going to be instrumental and inspiring to those you teach, just like
Hope
your
so.
teachers were to you.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yes. And I have been on this journey with you, over here on the sideline with your mom. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
when you started going to, oh my gosh, tell me the name of the high school when you started going to,
Magnificat.
yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, and
Yeah.
dancing and all that. And then to see you now teaching others is exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
All right. The first critical choice I made on my journey to success or to enduring success was to pick up the phone. And really, what I learned is that success begins with making a first choice, right?
Mhm.
Like nobody can make choices for us.
No.
We
No.
got to do it.
Mhm.
So, is there a first choice that when you think about your success, that you'd be like, you know what? That is a first choice that I made that has really impacted where I'm at today.
Yeah, I definitely thought about that question a little bit.
And I'm going to
But
just
I kept coming back to um choosing to go to Magnificat High School. Like that was simply like one thing that it didn't seem that big at the time, but like looking back at the past 8, 9 years, that is something that's like seriously like still affected my life today, and kind of put me on like trajectory of where I am and where I want to go. It was going to mags and then definitely auditioning for dance team, which I am a coach now of dance team, and I love to give back to that team that has given me so much. um I learned so much about myself going to mags, as it's an all girls school. So I literally thought that I could do anything in the entire world. Like the world was at, my fingertips when I went to high school. And I seriously still believe that to this day. And I kind of figured out that I wanted to go into dance and I wanted to make a career out of it. Um, and being in that community of Magnificat, like seriously, I could do anything I wanted. So it wasn't even a question for me of like, will I be successful in this? Like, is this actually like a career choice I want to make? But it was like, no question. I wanted to do this, so I was going to do it. Nothing was going to get in my way. And it's still like, I think about it every day, being around that community of women, and on dance team and having that support of like, I can do this. Yeah.
did you have that belief prior to going and being on the dance team and being at mags, or did that community help create that belief?
Yeah. I mean, I have a pretty strong mom. She's kind of the best. And
I
both like my mom and my dad, they've taught me like all my siblings since we were little, you can do anything you want. Like it's not a question of like if you could do it, it's like what do you want to do? Like we'll support you in anything you want to do. No questions asked. And I like still have that, have that support from my parents today. So I had that growing up, but I mean, being a girl, growing up in this world, it's kind of hard. It's so hard. And once I got into high school, I was like, it's not just my parents telling me I could do this. It's like a whole group of people who like believe in me and see like things that I don't even see in myself. So yeah, I was definitely like nurtured at Mags, that like thought that I've already had since I was little.
So I'm going to take us to the second critical choice. The second critical
Mm-hmm.
choice I made was to commit to a two-way agreement. And now I committed to a two-way agreement with my sister. This is way back when. But when I reflect on the construct of a two-way agreement is when two people come together or two parties come together, two entities come together with the mutual objective of with the objective of a mutually beneficial outcome. It's for us both. And we construct it and we commit to it. Well, how about this? The power is when we commit to it.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
yeah.
always commit to it. But I am curious, and I bet I see a thread here that is there a two-way agreement in your life that you have entered into that in reflecting, you're like, this is what I gave, this is what I got, and what happened when you committed to it?
Yeah, so my commitment's actually happening right now. That's like me and my mom decided to run a full marathon in December. So that's like a commitment I'm working on every single day. We committed to this back in like I want to say like June or something like that. And I'm a new runner. I've only been running really for the past like 2 years. I've taken it up. And my mom has literally ran forever
Forever. I mean, we
since.
used to literally MG solve the world's problems when we
Oh,
were running
well,
together in
yeah.
San Diego.
My mom's insane. Like with her running, she's crazy. She's so fast. Um, but I've watched my mom since I was little, like accomplish so much personal like satisfaction and success through her running. So like I wanted to try it out and see kind of what it was all about. And then I've, been on this journey for the past 2 years doing like running consistently. Um, and I love challenges in my life. I love trying new things. I get bored really easily with like things that I do, hobbies and stuff like that. So I was just kind of like fooling around one day and I was like, Mom, like, what if we just did it? Like, what if I just did one with you? Or ran a full marathon with you? And she's like, okay, like we can do that, but you have to train. Like it's gonna be a little intense. I was like, okay, sure, yeah. Like I've done intense things before. Like it's fine. And now we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty, like the marathons in like 2 months. So it's
Right.
getting pretty intense now. And I'm dreading it a little bit, like the long runs that we have on Saturdays. But
What's
I
your
run
long run this Saturday?
this Saturday's only 10. We did a half last weekend.
Okay.
But every time I go out, I like dread it. I get so scared to do it because it's like I keep running distances farther and farther that I've never ran before. So I'm like, can I actually do this? Like you have to find like the trust in yourself. But I have to remind myself, and my mom reminds me too, like I get to do this. Like I get to run. I like my body is able to do this and I'm so grateful for this. And yeah, just like thinking about that mindset instead of like being like, I have to run this weekend, like I don't want to do it. But it's like I actually get to, and it's like one of the coolest things and one of the greatest highs I've ever like felt is, running and that satisfaction of like, oh, I did it. So
And you're gonna rock it.
thanks.
And you're training with your mom, but you guys don't always run together for your training runs,
No,
right?
I run during the week on my
To,
own, which is
you
good
gotta,
practice.
yeah, right. You do it on your own, but then you have that commitment with your mom and with yourself,
Oh yeah.
like that accountability, if you will.
Yeah, if she wasn't there on the weekends, I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll take this weekend off. Maybe I'll do a Saturday, like just rest.
Yeah.
Nope.
Right. Yeah. And you've answered this, like how it feels to commit to this agreement with your mom. Like it just, and it continues to push you.
Oh, it does. It does. Like there's no half-assing it. Like you gotta go full in, or you're gonna struggle at the end on the real full marathon and be like, oh, I wish I just did that. Like I wish I just committed a little bit more and it would have felt a little bit better. That's what
I
I'm
think
thinking of.
I think that is totally a mantra for life.
It
Like,
is.
seriously. Because if you
Yeah.
don't put in the work, what are you gonna you can't accomplish the things that you wanna accomplish.
No. No.
All right, well
You
yeah,
get
go
what
on.
you put in. No, you get out what you get like put in.
You do. So, because it's you, I'm gonna show you. This is Lily's cat. This is
Hi.
Cosmo, and when I'm doing these interviews, he just gets on my lap. He never sits on my lap
That's funny. He
unless
just knows you're talking to another person. He's
yeah, and I'm
jealous.
like, so I get like a little time. You rolled us right into the third choice, which the third critical choice that I made was to build trust in myself. Like I
Mhm.
had no trust in myself. Like there was nothing, nada. And so slowly I built trust in myself and then I inspired the trust of others.
Yeah.
And so you started peppering that in a little bit about building trust in yourself. But will you
Yeah.
just share with us what that means to you and how you build trust in yourself?
Yeah, I'm going through a time in my life that it's like it's hard to like have that trust in yourself being a postgraduate. Um it's like, oh, am I doing what I actually need to be doing to like get to the places I want to go? And I've been finding myself in that headspace a little bit often where I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I actually like doing what I want to do? And like taking that step back and just trusting yourself and trusting the place that you are in your life. It is very like has helped me a lot. Just with overthinking of like everything I'm doing. And I have such high expectations for myself. I always have. Um, so that like I trust that I will reach those, goals and dreams that I want to, but it doesn't have to be today. Like it's a process. And just being kind to myself is something that I have really, put at the forefront of every day. It's like you're doing what you need to be doing. Trust yourself, trust your gut, like all that stuff.
And is that how being kind to yourself actually manifests itself? Do you say
Oh, I
these?
speak to
Yeah.
myself. I speak to my younger self too. Like I have like a little baby picture that I have. I used to have it on my bathroom mirror, but like every day like I would wake up and be like, "Oh, hi." Like I would say hi to her and like speak with her, especially like at times I was being kind of mean to myself and nasty. Like being
Mm.
down on myself and saying like I'm not enough and I'm not doing enough. And then like going to speak to your younger self is like it's kind of crazy the way your demeanor changes like about yourself because you're like I would never let anyone talk to her like that, like ever. Like that's not okay. And just changing that like perspective, yeah, I love it. It's like my favorite
Wow.
practice.
MG, that is I'm gonna literally talk to Lily about that, by
No,
the
you
way.
should.
She's gonna watch this.
Yeah,
That's powerful.
my therapist taught me it like a while ago, but like it's literally I try to do it every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Hmm.
so then now let's keep going with trust. How do you inspire the trust of others?
I think listening is a huge part of creating like a real human connection and bond between two people. If you're not listening to one another, then you're just kind of talking into a void, and like it's kind of a waste of space and time. You have to really listen to like other people's experiences, other people's feelings, what people have gone through to really like know a person. And I think to trust, have that trust, have other people trust you is like being that safe space and allowing themselves to be vulnerable with you. I think vulnerability is like one of the hardest but like most beautiful and rewarding things ever. So I hope people feel that with me. And I think that's how I build trust with other people too. Yeah.
You are 22,
Yeah.
and what you just said so beautifully, uh, I actually work on as a 50-year-old.
It's a
Right?
constant
Mother of
practice. Yeah.
2, the teams I work with teams of professional, professionals that have been working with clients for decades. They work on that. And I
Yeah.
think the more and more we get wrapped up into the chaos of life, we lose sight of just creating that authentic space to
Yeah.
listen to someone, to understand what they think and what they feel.
Yeah.
And it's unique though, Mary Grace. I don't think many people do it and do it
Yeah.
consistently.
Well, yeah, because it's like I have my own things to worry about. Why would I care about what other people have to say? But I mean, it's a
Yeah.
selfish way to live, is that way. And I think it's pretty like superficial and a little sad. Life is all
Mhm.
about the connections that you make with people.
It
Yeah.
is. It
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
Let's keep going with connections. The fourth critical choice I made was to create community and belonging. I mean, I was 30 years old and had created more professional success than I ever would have
Yeah.
imagined. Yet I still didn't belong anywhere. And I learned that I actually had to create my
Yeah.
community and create my belonging.
Totally.
Will you give me your perspective on community? And well, actually, let me flip it. Let me start with belonging. But has there ever been a time that you felt like you didn't belong?
Um, I was thinking about this question, and it's a pretty privileged question to say, but like, no. I've never felt like a sense of disconnect, like a not belonging. I don't
Mhm,
know. I was trying to figure out like why. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like I'm a white cisgender woman
mhm,
and I have that privilege.
mhm,
And so I've never really felt that like space of like I've always been the majority of like the people that I'm with. And that's privilege and I totally acknowledge that. Um but I think definitely as like women and young women, like all you really want in life is that place of belonging and is to like feel heard and like loved and accepted by, the people around you and like society too. And it's like hard if you don't feel like you belong. Um because like to me community is everything. I've always felt like I've been a part of some community, whether that be dance or my friends. I've always had really great friendships, and I'm very like grateful for that. And my family is really close. I don't really feel like I'm an outsider in that
mhm.
perspective. um, but yeah, it's like seeking out those communities when you go to different places. Like when I went to college, I was like, okay, community shift. Like I need my people around me because, that's how I find, comfortability and that's how I have fun is with my friends.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm also a pretty outgoing person, so I don't really have issues with like, talking to new people and, making friends and stuff like that. But yeah, it's also like building those like big bonds with community. And I think dancers have like a natural community with one another
Mhm,
because what we do in our art is so vulnerable. So it's kind of hard to have superficial
mhm.
relationships in the dance world. And that's something I'm like forever grateful for. And it'll bring me to like, such an old age is like wherever I go, like that dance community, wherever, we'll be there forever
Yeah.
and always. So yeah.
And now you're a part of leading a new, younger
Yeah.
community that's forming.
Yeah. Which I hope I'm like, pulling from my past experiences and, um, getting away from things that maybe weren't that beneficial to me, and dialect and like ways of
Mhm.
teaching that were kind of like called people out and stuff like that. I really just want to create a good group
Yeah.
of, a kind group of girls who like, yeah, they trust each other and they have fun because all it is just fun. We're just doing what we like to do. you know?
And you're just beautiful. And I'm saying beautiful from the outside, like or from the inside, like your whole being with what you're saying. Because one of the things I was going to ask you is, and is, are you cognizant of and do you do things to help others create belonging? And you just said how when you think about these younger girls in this dance
Mhm.
community and perhaps purposeful things that you can do to help
Yeah,
them to feel that.
totally.
Mm.
And I always try to like I love connecting people. It's I think my skill my mom has too. She's a good like connector of human beings.
Mhm.
Um so I always like to like introduce people to certain other people who like I think they would like and what like I always want people to feel, that they're a part of a community. I want people to have a place. Yeah,
Yeah.
cuz it means so much to me.
A thing that I'm trying to get better at is finding opportunities to cross pollinate my communities.
Mhm.
Because it's very easily that I could have my neighborhood mom friends,
Totally.
my work, right? Like all the
Yeah, yeah,
barn.
yeah.
And so do you find the same thing?
Yeah, I definitely have like a lot of groups of people. I kind of always have. I don't know what it is about me, but I don't know. I like so many things, and then I think I just
Yeah.
like have a lot of different groups. Um, but yeah, I love to mingle people like
Yeah.
together and kind of see that little like awkward first encounter that they have with each other too. I think is super funny and great because it's like, why are we being awkward? Like all
Yeah.
we're doing is meeting people. Like it's just funny. I don't know. So I love doing that. I love cross pollinating. That's a good way to
Uh,
say it.
and this is like another thing that I want Lily to see when she listens, and maybe I'll clip this part out so she doesn't know that I'm intentionally wanting her to see things. But Lily is at 13 years old, almost 14, and she's going to a new school now, an all girls school.
Yay!
Right? Uh, and her, um, like she, is the majority. She's privileged, all of that. Yet she still, as a young girl, feels sometimes like she doesn't belong,
Oh my gosh.
and
I can't imagine what it's like to be 13, 14
it's
years old these days.
yeah,
It's a very different upbringing from when I was that age, which was, I mean, not that long ago.
yeah, but
It's hard.
I mean, and remember those 13 and 14-year-old feelings inside, and
And you have social media and TikTok. Like,
oh,
that sounds terrible.
the whole the whole thing. But I've been trying to encourage her, and then I'll get off it. I've been trying to encourage her to cross pollinate.
Yeah.
The fifth critical choice that I made on my journey was to finally realize and then embrace the fact that love is boundless and that there
Mhm.
really is no limit. There's no
No.
cap. And so each day I don't always succeed, but each day I try to give all of my love and
Yeah.
receive all the love that others want to give me. And when I do, it grows.
Totally.
My capacity grows. Will you share with us when I say give love, I mean love the verb. But
Yeah.
what do you think? Just what do you think about that? Let's just start with what do you think about each of us having a boundless capacity to give love?
Yeah. It's like there's no limit. Yeah, there's no limit to love that you can give every day. Like, and everyone deserves love, no matter what. It's hard. It's a hard like thing to learn too because sometimes you're like just don't want to give love to certain people. You're like
Yeah.
I kind of wish ill a little bit, but you're like no, they're also human beings. They're they have their own journeys. They're dealing with their own things, and to like kind of grit your teeth and say, they deserve love too. Like they deserve the most. I think it's good karma, one, for you. And two, it's just being a human being and compassionate. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think love is a very, very important thing to give. Same thing with like hugs and words of affirmation and just like showing people that they really are loved is something that everyone wants. Like, I want that every day. I mean, it's what makes you like, it's kind of the reason why you're put on this earth is to share that and like have that community.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so I try to do that every day. Choose love and give love in forms of, the really good side of you and the not so great side of you, because that's what shows you that you're all human beings. Is like, we're all not perfect. We all have our emotions. And to really share that, I think is important.
And the examples that you just gave, so many people ask me all of the time, uh, well, what's an example of giving love? And I always turn that question back because I'm like, you tell me. Like,
Yeah, like, how do you
different
feel love?
people give and receive in different ways.
Yeah.
So words of affirmation,
Yeah.
hugs, like those two
Yeah.
things are like very specific manifestations of an action. And that is what
Totally.
I'm getting to, is the act of.
Yeah. And even just like, I love you, like before you leave or a room, or I think my
Yeah.
family is like a big I love you family. And I know that's not normal for everyone, but we give hugs. We say, I love, like, good night, love you, like every time, before bed. So it's something I was just raised with and something I continue to do to this day because
Yeah,
it just makes me feel good. And it's just like a part of your day. I don't know. It
totally.
doesn't have to be like that big of a deal or activity. You don't have to like make a huge grand gesture, but just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And everybody has different ways that they give and receive.
totally.
Right? Like, and even what you were saying back with building trust, I think listening for me, when I am totally present to the
Mhm.
person that I am with, and I am listening to them with the intent of understanding how they think and feel, that is my manifestation of love.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm like all over the place. Like, my brain is like all over the place. And so just even listening. Now, what about receiving love? And do you ever struggle with accepting or receiving the love that others want to give, or it's a part of your choice in its totality?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you have to be vulnerable sometimes to receive that love, which I think it's hard for me. Um, like, people don't know your day is going bad if you don't express it. Like, I love my work. I work at a retail shop. And it's like, it is another community, Banyan Tree in Cleveland, if you're ever there. But those women, it's run by women, women employees, and it's like all age groups, but every woman there has like gone through a different journey in their life. So you can
Yeah.
like kind of all like know, kind of can understand a little bit what each person's going through, but you have to express it. Like, when I'm super stressed and I'm not having a good day, I express it immediately when I go in. Sometimes I cry, and that's fine, but
Mhm.
they're there for me and they love me and they show me that love and they show me that compassion, and I'm like, great, okay, moving on. But it's kind of hard to be that open with people you're not like super close to. You're kind of just like coworkers. And but yeah, those like connections go outside of work. I love my job. Anyways,
Oh,
we'll change it on that.
no, but you were like on it with your I don't even know what the word is, self-realization, self-actualization, like just knowing yourself and
Yeah,
choosing to go in and say, listen, this is what's on my mind, this is how I'm feeling,
yeah.
and now we'll move forward.
Now we'll move
That's
forward.
I mean, I don't know that a lot of people
Yeah,
are able to do that. I How about this? I hope that more women, younger women, my age women, I don't even care, can do that.
yeah, I hope so too, because it makes you feel like you're more of a part of a community
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mary Grace, I believe with my whole heart that when we choose to give all of our love and we choose to receive the love that others want to give us, that choice, making that choice that you make every day is true enduring success.
Yes.
That was my fifth choice because I wasn't ready to make it. But you make that right now. And I think there's so many other people around us that just show up in your next interaction with the human beings that are around us with the intent of giving love and receiving love. And not only does that create our enduring success, but it fuels the success of those around us. You today have fueled my success.
Stop.
Yes. I mean, your choice to be with me today, to share this with our communities, your authenticity, your vulnerability, you're a straight shooter. I appreciate you very much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you too.
And I can't wait to just package this up and share it with our communities. Is there anything before we sign off that you would want to, a shout out, a message, a lesson, a mantra, anything that you would want to leave one last word?
No. I think it's really important to find something every day that you're grateful for. And journaling is something that really, really helps me with that vulnerability with myself. And to hold myself accountable every day to journal, write down what happened that day, share the good, the bad, the ugly. It just makes you, I think it helps build your relationship with yourself. So journaling in a nice little notebook, I think is one of the secrets to life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this episode of the Choose and Become interview series with Mary Grace Geise, the daughter of my best friend, whom I love so much. Choose and Become. Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.